The big picture is you lived, you explored, you asked, source answered, and future experiences will benefit by what this generation is asking for. So the future is assured because of those who are living now. Just as what you're living now is better than what was before because of those who lived it before. So we don't have to have a conversation like this or a gathering like this in order to make certain that all goes well with this world. It must. This conversation is about you not having to wait till you croak to close the gap. This conversation is about allowing yourself step by step, and that's why it's fun to be specific. In other words, let's say that you're just living life by default. You don't know about vibration. You don't know about law of attraction. You're just sort of moving through life as many are, comparing behaviors and comparing outcomes and gathering statistics of things. And you have in your mind piles of things that you think are appropriate good things and piles of things that you think are inappropriate bad things. And you're just sort of sorting out life. And in the process of doing so, you are exploring a lot of contrast and you are asking for many, many improvements while you don't let yourself focus there much, and because you don't understand the process necessarily, and you don't really feel your power, but it doesn't stop you from asking. So you're asking and asking and asking and asking, and in the process, who you really are is expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. But because you don't know what we're talking about here, and you haven't been somebody who's been selfish enough to gravitate toward the best feeling of things, instead you stay rooted in the struggle and you keep trying to do your best. But the longer you live, the less happy you are, because the longer you live, the more you find to fuss and worry about, and the more you launch rockets of desires, and the bigger the gap becomes between who you're letting yourself be and who life has caused you to become. So then, we call that living life by default. Now, here's another example of living life by default. You're exploring, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. You're expanding, you're throwing things into your vibrational reality. And you haven't heard about law of attraction, and you don't know about the laws of the universe, and you don't even really know about your guidance system. But early on, you had a grandmother or a teacher who was just a joyful person, who said to you, no matter what, just find ways to be happy. Look for the positive side of things. So without knowing anything about laws or rules, you just remembered what this person sort of drummed into your head early on. And you just look for the best in everything that you see. You don't know anything about laws or rules, but you have, without conscious awareness, trained yourself into vibrational alignment with who you really are. So your world goes pretty darn good. You're not doing it deliberately. You're just being happy. And so life's working for you in the way it is supposed to. The contrast caused you to expand, and your general good mood that you learned from your grandmother and practiced ever since has held you in good place. And so you've been living a pretty happy life. And people look at you and they're sort of pleased or amazed or jealous at how well your life is turning out. Another example of living life by default. Went better because you were influenced at an early age for things that made you feel better. It's hard for many of you because there's always someone clamoring about come this way. But those are two examples of living life by default, where in one case it didn't turn out that well for you day by day. In the other case it did, but in neither case were you very deliberate about it. Now, deliberate creation is where you bang around, you don't really know what you're doing, you have some contrast, you put a whole lot in vibrational escrow, you feel the discord of it, you don't know what's gone wrong, you just know innately that you should feel better than you do, so you start seeking. And then somebody tells you that you're the creator of your own reality and explains to you that contrast is the life you intended to live, and that it has caused you to create this vibrational reality, this vibrational escrow. And now you start getting a sense by thinking and feeling because you can tell by the way you feel when you consider a thought, it's harmony or discord with who you really are and what you really know. So you consider this and you decide to begin to be more deliberate in your thinking. So you can't stop the contrast from happening because it's all around you, but now you're managing the contrast a little better in that when you know what you don't want and you know what you do want, this time you turn your attention toward what you do want more quickly, and you talk about what it is you do want and why you want it. Now you're consciously aware of the separation that has been caused by your expansion, your vibrational expansion, which your habit of thought has not yet caught up with. You can tell by the way you feel that you've expanded but not allowed the full expansion. So now you go to work. You deliberately think thoughts that match what's in your escrow rather than continuing to beat the drum of what caused it by justifying or defending or rationalizing. And as you do, you feel yourself feeling better. That's the first evidence. And as you feel better, now you begin to see evidence of what you've been asking for showing up in your experience. So, contrast causes you to expand, but you're not up to speed with the expansion, and you know it by the way you feel. So you deliberately reach for better feeling thoughts, getting as specific as you can be and still feeling good, bringing yourself into vibrational alignment, and then achieving vibrational alignment with it enough that it manifests. And now you're not just this sort of flimsy creator. You did that on purpose. You were in a place far from there. You knew what you didn't want. You explored it. You felt a desire born within you. You knew you weren't a match to the desire. You deliberately did something about it. You made yourself focus in a way that feels better. You got to witness the evidence of the universal cooperation with you. And now it manifested, and you feel the exhilaration of having had your hands in your own creative clay. And now you not only got the manifestation that you were reaching for, but a whole new vibrational platform with a whole other set of contrasting experiences, which is giving birth to another rocket of the desire. But of course, you're not a vibrational match to this one either in the beginning, but now you're not worried about it because you know that this is the way the process works. Contrast always causes you to expand where you naturally can be, but now you know the rules of the game, you know what emotion means, you know what closing the gap means, so you deliberately, with specifics, apply attention to what you want, not to make it happen, because you're wise enough to know the process, the laws, the rules of the universe are making it happen. You focus upon what you want for the ease, for the satisfaction, for the absence of resistance, for the presence of allowing, for the being who I really am, for the seeing the world through the eyes of source. Hands-on, deliberate creating. Oh, it just does not get any better than that. Not one of you said, I'll go forth, but clean it all up before I get there so that all I have to do is come and observe good things. Not one of you said that. Every one of you said, I'll come forth. It doesn't matter where. I know what to do. My guidance will tell me. Contrast will be certain. It's for sure because this is a leading edge. Out of the contrast will be born clear new desires, and I will turn toward them, and I will experience my personal, individual, precise movement through this leading edge time-space reality as I get to choose from the variety of possibilities what would feel best to me. I will pick from the broad life I live, details, components, and I will expand. Now some might say, oh, so the purpose of your experience is to take your beingness and expand it into a new beingness. And we say, no, that's not the purpose. That's an inevitable consequence. The purpose of the whole process is it feels so good to feel movement. And it feels so good to do the movement on purpose. The two examples we gave you of the creation by default, whether it turned out good or not nearly as satisfying as to explore and feel the new desire born and know you're not in alignment with it, and then get yourself in alignment with it and feel. You can't enjoy a meal unless you're a little hungry, and the best drink of water always comes when you're a little thirsty, and the best bringing together of what you want always comes in the not having things together the way you want them. In other words, you're creators. You want to create. You didn't come here. You didn't say, let somebody else create and I'll just come and observe it. You are a creator. Have you ever had anybody want to step in and do everything for you? I'll do it. Watch the little ones. If you do that to them very long, they'll go play with someone else. They don't want to stand next to you while you create their reality. They want to create their reality. You all do, you see. And so the specifics is just because it's way, way, way more fun when you get really specific about what you want. Oh, the longer you live, the more you gather in terms of data, the more specific you are. And we've got to tell you, You have put together such an incredibly specific vibrational reality that you have to be specific in your lining up with it in order to experience the fullness of it, or to feel the full thrilling reward of being in the process of it. So then our favorite story that sort of sums all of this up. Jerry and Esther went whitewater rafting. Long way up the canyon in a bus with all the boats on top of the bus. And a long time on the water moving back down the canyon. Really an exhilarating day. At no time did any of them consider asking the man to put their boat back on the bus and drive it down the canyon, even though it would have been a lot faster. Put it in the water about 200 yards from where we're going to take it out, because we like instant manifestation. Let's just get this ride on the river over with as soon as possible. Because they wanted the ride on the river. You want to figure it out. You want the fun of collecting the data. You want the fun of recognizing you're not in alignment with it. You want the benefit that not being in alignment with something gives you. That's the thing that we think that is often left out of this process of 1, 2, 3, ask, source answers, and you allow. Is that if you can take satisfaction in the contrast itself, in the same way that you take satisfaction in a buffet of anything that you're choosing from, then the contrast won't thwart you. You won't get lost in it. It won't be a step one hindering vibration. It will be a creative, everything melding in, living life for the purpose of becoming process. All of this is in an effort to say, you didn't come here to get it done. You came for the fun of doing it. You didn't come for the end of the journey. You came for the thrill of the journey. You didn't come for the completion of who you are. You came for the process of becoming. Life isn't about getting it done. Life is about something stirring you to want something more, to which you will now have a reason to flow in the direction of. And it is the flowing toward the idea, not the achieving of it and the completion of it, because with the completion of the first idea will come another. And with the completion of that, there will become another and another and another and another. We are all eternal beings. So this is all said to sort of get you to come into agreement with us gradually, hopefully sooner than later, that it's an eternal journey that we are all upon, and it's supposed to be a journey of joy. And if this time-space reality can inspire the desire, this time-space reality can provide the full manifestation of it. And the fact that it is manifesting in your dreams means it can manifest in your actual reality. In fact, let's talk about, so here is this vibrational reality that we're talking about. Next to it is the dream reality, which is closer to the vibrational reality, and it's somewhere between the reality that you're living and the true vibrational reality. The dream is sort of the phase in between that means you're vibrationally approaching the allowance of the fulfillment of it. But it's easier for you to allow it in your dream state, because in your dream state you have less resistance than in your wake state. But if you can dream it, you're right on the track of it.
Thank you.
Don't worry, we never let the one we didn't choose come. Jerry and Esther getting letters. Abraham chose me and someone else took the chair. That doesn't happen. Did you get it? The beating of the drum causes you to ask, but if you keep beating the drum, then you can't get what you've asked, because now you have interjected resistance, because you cannot, if you're still asking for it from the perspective of not having it, then even though the presence of it is there, you're introducing resistance into the vibration of it. Sounds a little bit off the subject, but it is so dead on the subject. So now where are you? Can't put anything contradictory in the vortex. You can only contradict the vortex.